What the hell is up, man? How about that? What a night. So exciting. Glad everybody's in here. We've got, looks like 20 of you in here already waiting for this. If you can't get up after a night like this and you need to go to bed, West Virginia wins in a dominating performance, 37-7. We haven't seen anything like this in years, guys. How does it feel to finally feel good about something as a Mountaineer fan once again? As you can see, I was so excited I didn't even put my hat on right. My hair's all jacked up. It's okay. It's all right. This is live. No turnovers for Green. I saw that. Hey, John Kelly. Thank you guys, everybody. What's up, Baxter Mallory? Chris Hayes, Silas, Jacob Yoho, Timothy Green. Sasquatch is in here. So, obviously, this was a big game, coming out party of sorts, although we've seen it coming. It's been stacking week after week. Jaheim White really has a big day, although I was kind of wanted to see him get in the end zone, but that's okay. CJ had a great day, too, with over 100 yards. Both those guys go over 100. We're going to win a lot of games when that happens. Garrett Green played mistake-free football, although he definitely needs to, next week especially, hit those layups. A couple of those balls did hit CJ in the hands, but like they pointed out in the broadcast, CJ does wear thicker shoulder pads. And once you get up into the air with your hands like this, it's not easy to catch a ball like that from behind. It's just not it. You know, Garrett has to make it, while CJ should have caught those passes, Garrett also needs to make it easier for the running backs out of the backfield. We need Garrett to hit more layups. 10 incompletions tonight was really not enough. But Garrett wasn't asked to do much tonight. This was really a dominating performance by the defense over there. They gave up some yards. And this was really the offensive line show tonight. We dominated both lines of scrimmage. Guys, this was a beat-up BYU team. This is not the team that beat Arkansas on the road. This is not the team that has played other teams close this year. And then even more, their better players went out. We didn't catch them at full strength. I say all that to say, we're playing Oklahoma next week, and they're at full strength. How do you guys feel? Do you feel like this was a little bit of a setting us up for the woo? Is this the game is this the Will Greer game when they score 51 and we scored 50? Is it going to be a game similar to that where we're almost there but not quite enough? Or are we finally going to get over the hump and actually beat a good Oklahoma team? Because we all know the last year team that we played was masquerading as an Oklahoma team. Dylan Gabriel certainly didn't play in that game, and it was very obvious that he didn't play that game. I will say I would love to play General Booty, who is the backup quarterback for Oklahoma. I can just think of the headlines with that one. If we would have beat an Oklahoma-led team with Booty at quarterback, yeah, I can think of some pretty funny headlines with that one. Let's get to some comments. We finally played to our strengths, says Dakota Ashbrook, and dominated. I just hope you do it again, but still glad to be a Mountaineer. Absolutely, man. All right, guys, as you already know, everybody's in a good mood tonight. If you're in the lending mood, if you want us to give a super chat to the show, this is what I do for a living, as always. If you want to get your comment highlighted and spoken out loud for everybody else to hear, hit that super chat button. Do what you can. Would certainly appreciate that. Don't forget to like the video, guys. Shoot, I don't even have any of my stuff rolling underneath here. Don't forget to like the video as always. And if you're new to the program at all, please subscribe to Mountaineer Paul Talk Football. It means a ton when you do that, guys. All right. So I felt like, the defense played really well tonight. I was excited about that. Beanie had his hand on a bunch of footballs again tonight. He continues to be one of the just nicest surprises out of the transfer portal. They say that giveth and taketh away. We lose Charles Woods. We gain Beanie Bishop. Would love to have both of them. But Beanie is one of the unsung heroes in this football team. He does not get enough credit for the success of this team. And I think that needs to be spoken just a bit more. Sure, he gets recognition, but when it comes to the team success, you hear Garrett Green a lot about the turnaround. You hear CJ a lot. You hear the offensive line thrown out there a lot. Don't hear a lot about, Beanie or Lee Kobo, who's the leader of the defense. Um, and really, those guys have stolen the show from other guys in that defense. Kind of like, although Sean Martin had himself a day today, I won't say he won't. He did have a great performance today, but Sean Martin hasn't stuck out as much as I thought he would this year. And there are some other players on the defense I thought we were going to stick out just a little bit more than they did or than they had. Michelle Weintraub says we will not be embarrassed by Oklahoma. It'll be a close game. Very possible. Very possible. It's also a game that can get out of hand. I think we all know that. Look, Retzloff has got a lot of talent, the quarterback for BYU. It's obvious. You can see it for his first start. That kid's going to be a problem, right? By the end of the year, if not by the end of the year next year, that kid's going to be a problem for people. In his first start, I felt like he represented himself really well. You can project and see that kid's going to be a really, really good football player. And I'm talking about a top end of the conference type player whenever he figures it out. So Retzloff is somebody you're going to look for to come next year, the year after, which is why BYU was so hell bent on getting his red shirt preserved, because you want a player like that to stick around for a long time. That said, Dylan Gabriel's on another level. And there was a lot of openings in that zone again tonight, guys. They just made mistakes at the wrong time. They had the turnovers at the wrong time. Before we knew it, the game was out of hand. By the time halftime came around, we made adjustments. And there you go, bada bing, bada boom, the game's over. We have to get pressure on Dylan Gabriel. I just don't think we can drop into coverage and think he's not going to pick us apart. First of all, he's a really good runner. He's every bit the runner that Retzloff was and better. If you didn't see tonight, he ran over people all night long, even though there was a loss. And he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in America and was being pushed as the Heisman favorite at certain points of this year. So Dylan Gabriel is going to be a problem. And they've got really good players on the offensive side of the ball in the running back room. Obviously, Nick Marshall, Drake Stoops in the wide receiver room. Those are going to be really tough options to stop this coming week. But I think we can do it. And I think we're going to have to revert back to away from what we did today, which was a little bit of tempo, which was really nice to see. I put out on X, if you didn't see, when you're the better football team, tempo is a good thing because you get them in mismatches, you get matchups that you like, you get to dictate the tempo, and you don't have to worry about them on offense and running your defense out there too much because it adds to the play total. But when you're a dog like we're going to be next week, ball control is going to be a big deal next week. I think we're going to have to hold on to the football, although we had a ton of it tonight. I just don't think tempo is going to be the way to go next week. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I'd like to let you see how some of you guys feel about that as well. What's up, Big Mo Carpenter? I know it was out of hand and Neil won't run up the score, but I would love to see him open up the offense for Nico just a little. Absolutely, Mo. I agree 100%, man. As anybody knows, before the year, I thought Nico was going to eventually become the guy for West Virginia. I just did. I've always been a big fan of Nico's, as people know. I learned something new about him tonight, that he was a 3-time state championship wrestler. I'm not going to pretend like I knew that. And I know a lot about the kid. Was really surprised to hear that. Everybody else was. I didn't know that. Knew Zach Frazier was. Did not know Nico Markiol was. Glad to see a win like this. WVU needed one bad, absolutely. But we're bowl eligible, guys. That's the biggest thing, right? And that's why I put that headline on here. West Virginia is bowl eligible with 3 games left in the season. Are you kidding me? A chance to win 9 games and 10 in a bowl game. Being picked last, if Neil Brown can pull something like that off, not only would he deserve to be recognized as possibly the coach in the conference, but also possibly a coach of the year candidate, right? If Neil Brown wins 10 games, I think that's fair to say. 9 games in conference, if you've been picked last, that's literally from worst to top 3, right? Top 4. So it'll be interesting to see. We need some help in the standings. Oklahoma State somehow has just turned into a juggernaut. College football is so weird. how a team like Oklahoma State could lose even without Ollie Gordon, only getting 5 touches in that game with South Alabama. I don't get it. This is why Vegas makes some money off of college football. Did you? Yeah, Devin Carter he played better today. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great duo. I've seen people trying to say online, John, that Jaheim should supplant CJ as the starter. I'm not of that belief. I think it's just like it should be, with CJ mentoring, even though they're similar age and from the whole same hometown. Jaheim, and and that's what they talked about in the broadcast a little bit. And he also helped Jaheim along with the offense, right? So I think everything in its right time and place. Just like CJ wasn't really ready last year to take the bulk of the load, because as a running back, you have to work your way up to the amount of hits. It's just I don't think Jaheim is ready for that. But when he gets ready, he's going to be our Deuce Vaughn, right? The Kansas State Electric all-time best running back they probably ever had outside of Darren Sproles. I think he could certainly be a player like that for us. And we haven't even tapped into. Go watch Jaheim White's film. He caught 70 or 80 balls out of the backfield for them. He's an elite pass catcher, and we haven't even tapped into that for him yet. So I'm looking forward to that as well. People say he has Doak Walker winner potential. That would be interesting to see if he did something like that in his career. I definitely don't like to jump too far ahead for these things. It's hard not to dream, right? I mean, we all remember if you're old enough to remember the Louisville game with Pat and Steve when they broke out. Uh, I was dreaming back then too, and those dreams actually came to fruition. Actually, I would say that the Pat White situation turned out better than probably anybody could have ever imagined. Let's hope it's similar to that, right? The same could be Georgia tonight. All cylinders are firing. Appreciate that comment, David. TV crew was good tonight. Robert Smith was impressed with Morgantown. I agree. Yeah, yeah. He's one of those kids that he doesn't have elite long speed. Like once he gets outside of that 40 to 50 yard range, he slows down just a little bit and defenses catch up to him. But 50 yards and in, he is a lightning bolt. He gets up to speed so fast. It's incredible. He is what you would call he's a burst. He's a kid that's got elite burst, and he probably touches that 4.5, 4.4 range, which today almost all of them do. But man, is he good! I think that's why a couple of the times he got caught today is a lot of it had to do with shoestring tackles too. But he was just, I think he was a little bit tired on a couple of those runs too. They were working him hard tonight. But he's going to get one. I think he'll get one sometime in the next 3 weeks. We'll see Jaheim break off a nice 50 or 60, maybe 70 yard run. Not yet, David, because it depends on where we fall. I mean, they project, there are several websites that project bowl, but they're also projecting the win total. I'll have to look into it, David. Maybe that'll be a good video. The potential bowl games for West Virginia now that we're eligible now, because it would be anywhere between 6 and 9 wins. And depending on what happens, like let's say best case scenario, a couple teams lose, we make it to the Big 12 championship game, but we lose or something like that. We would either be near 6 or there's a bowl tie-in with the Big 12 and it goes down from there. And so it's a really hard. It's almost like a calendar. It's hard to see because you have to think like, okay, if everything is equal, and let's say we have 8 or 9 wins and Oklahoma has 7, just hypothetical. Even though we have a better record, deserve it more, Oklahoma will probably get the better bowl game because of recognition and brand recognition. So it's really hard to predict things like that. But I will look into it this week and try to get a video out on it because I think it's a pretty good idea. Our defense will be great into next with the extra experience and depth. I'm assuming you mean next year. Ocho85 said, I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season goes, as am I. Finally, guys, we're getting rid of some of this apathy that people have had about West Virginia football for the last year and a half plus, something like that. I mean, we're a resilient fan base, but as Neil got into year 4, and things just kept being disappointing. I agree, TJ. That was the killer, right? We would be playing for probably a de facto Big 12 championship next week had that not happened. You beat Oklahoma next week without the Houston loss, and then you're talking about Cincinnati and Baylor, you know. And while we're certainly capable of losing those games, we would be favored to win them. Screw you, Kirk Herbstreit. Pat McAfee wins his bet. West Virginia wins more than 5 games. It's funny you mentioned that. I thought about making that a thumbnail for one of my videos this week. Pay Pat McAfee, Herbstreit. Yeah, Jordan Leslie's called two really good games in a row, and kudos to him because he really got criticized after the Oklahoma State loss, and deservingly so. But as you can see, he's continued to do that, Ollie Gordon, to everybody indiscriminately. So he's just the best running back in America, I think, at this point. It's safe to say, in my opinion, if you line them all up. I don't care. Line them up. I'll take Ollie Gordon. That's how good he is. Neil has underachieved, but a lot of the apathy accrued from Dana. Very good point. Really proud to watch the showmanship. My son had a blast in the student section tonight. Awesome. TJ, new member. Thank you, brother. Which one did you pick? It doesn't tell me. It doesn't matter. Appreciate the new membership, TJ. I know you've been coming around for a while, so that's very much appreciated. As always, guys, we have 2 membership packages. We would certainly love. That's number 19. If somebody wants to be number 20, would very much appreciate that. Don't forget, as always, we have a super chat button as well if you would like to help out the show. As always, like I said in the beginning, when there wasn't any people in here, this is what I do for a living. So if this is something you want to do or feel like doing, I would certainly appreciate that. TJ, thank you for your membership, man. It means a lot. Channel member Timothy Hetrick Jr. says, Rodney Gallagher's looking better and better. I'm glad they're working him more in the offense. I'd like to see him get some more Wildcat snaps at quarterback. Yeah, I agree, Timothy, although that is a double-edged sword, right? He's not the biggest kid, and you worry about injuries, too. I would just say balance that thought process just a little. While I don't disagree, because he's elusive and special with the ball, I just don't know. It worries me. Let me just say that. I'm not saying you're wrong. It just worries me. How about 500 yards of rushing offense tonight? Is that pretty good? I can't tell. Is that pretty good? Will that do? You guys take that? Only 200 passing yards. Garrett had 2 touchdowns, which were both just incredible highlight plays. One to Preston Fox in the back of the end zone, and somehow he got that foot down. And then Cole Taylor, who just drug everybody with him into the end zone. But, yeah, that was awesome. Oh, we got a TJ Sheldon, the new member again. What happened? You must have upgraded, I'm assuming. If you did, I appreciate that, brother. Yeah, he did. He did. He definitely did. Sorry, my mom's texting me, guys. She is supposed to be at Wendy's. Sorry about that. Yeah, Cole Taylor did have a sort of an off game, which, I mean, they haven't, it's not like we only threw the ball. Well, we threw it 22 times tonight, something like that. So there's only so many footballs to go around. I mean, maybe that'll be different next week. Oklahoma's a better run defensive team. I think they're probably going to try to jam us up, but I don't know that at this point anybody can fully stop us if we want to run the football. So looking at some of these stats, I mean, Garrett spread the ball around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people caught the football in the backfield tonight. That's incredible. Um, that's going to make this hard to guard, guys. Traylon Ray, 3 for 42. E.J. Horton, 3 for 39. Cole Taylor, 1 for 43. Devin Carter, 3 for 56. Preston Fox, 3 for 33. Rodney had 1. Justin Johnson had 2, which I think that might have been from Garrett, or I mean from Nico. So, um, really proud of just this team, coming from what they've come from. Appreciate that, TJ. Really, really do, man. It means a lot, seriously. Do you guys care? Can you give me like 5 seconds to text my mom really quick? I asked her to grab me. She's on her way home from work, and I asked her to get me a baked potato from Wendy's, and apparently they're out of baked potatoes. Um, okay. Spicy chicken sandwich, yeah. So at the end of the day, though, I think let me know down below, guys, what are your biggest worries going forward for the defense? Do you guys think that Oklahoma is going to be a tough matchup for us? Because if you remember, like the Oklahoma State game, they play a very similar type ball where they get rid of it quick. Gabriel doesn't hold the ball very long. And it just makes you wonder, are we going to be in a shootout next week? Because I just can't picture a scenario in which we just shut them down with Dylan Gabriel quarterback. I would like to know how you guys feel. So, I'm just really interested to see. I'm sorry, I can't focus with her texting me over and over. I'm turning the phone off. You try to tell people you're live. All right. Lizdall Barnes says DBs and wide receivers are the biggest concern. Well, yeah, I think we got to get some people back too. Like Hudson Clement, I thought he was going to be back today. For whatever reason, he wasn't, and I really thought he was supposed to be back today, unless I misheard that. He would really be a nice piece to add right now, man. He at the right time for Hudson Clement. He's still right there. He's not the leader on the team in yards right now. He's got to be right there. It's just a shame that we lost Hudson when we did, but Preston Fox has really broken out in his place. So, it's and also obviously EJ Horton. So, you can't. It's one of those things where the next man up. Sometimes the next man up is the best man up. So, I'd also love to see some more shots for EJ. Oklahoma wide receivers, Jacob. I also am impressed with Preston Fox. I am also impressed with him. No doubt about it. TJ Sutton said Hudson, Martinsburg rocks. Best WVU skill position kid in a long time. I'm not sure exactly who you're talking about. Preston Fox or Hudson, one of the two. Unless you're talking about from the state of West Virginia. So, not a whole lot else to say about this one, guys. I just think, at the end of the day, I'm trying to manage my expectations, right? That's Cole Taylor, David, the big tight end. Because if not, I'll start dreaming about Big 12, right? And would I love for there to be a scenario where some teams lost? I mean, you look at Texas, they've got TCU, Iowa State, and Cincinnati left. So our best chance, Texas Tech left. Our best chance for them to lose a football game is probably going to be against Iowa State. They're way more talented than that. They are playing a true freshman quarterback, which almost came back to bite them today, but it didn't. we control our fate. But you look at Oklahoma State. I looked at their schedule earlier. There's really nobody left on their schedule that they can't beat. I mean, could they have a hiccup like South Alabama? Sure. But unless Ollie Gordon goes down, I just don't see them losing again. And so it really looks like now, in my opinion, the two favorites are Texas and Oklahoma State to play in the conference championship game, unless one of those two falters down the stretch. And then we obviously would lose on a tiebreaker with Oklahoma State if everything stayed the way it is. So we're going to need some help, guys. Unfortunately, Houston is going to be a situation that probably comes back to bite us multiple times as far as any hope for a Big 12 title game. But that doesn't mean we can't have a successful season. And coming from where we come from and from what we've been picked from, it would be incredible to win 8, 9 games, possibly 10 games. Could you imagine the momentum with this freshman class? The Country Roads Trust, the NIL situation would absolutely improve. The donors, Ken Kendrick and those guys would have to send some money our guys' way. We would stop getting, no offense to these schools, but Toledo, James Madison, and Kent State, and we would start recruiting some more Power 5 kids. I can't tell you how many Power 5 kids I have in my inbox from this past cycle that signed with other teams. I mean, it's just incredible. The kid from North Carolina or from Florida State that ended up in North Carolina, who's been a really good player for them this year. The kid from Florida that ended up at Virginia Tech, his Antoine or whatever his last name is now. I talked to him for days, and it was really down to us in Virginia Tech. He picked Virginia Tech, and now he leads them in sacks. I just seen him. He had a big sack for a safety last week. He's their best edge rusher by far. And just I can go on and on and on. And we lost a lot of these kids because of our NIL package for basketball was good, but not football. So really hoping that changes at the end of this year because Neil needs it. Imagine if we give Neil actually more talent. This guy can scheme it up, guys. Say what you want about his overall record. I called for his job, but I can't deny, man, he is scheming it up right now, guys. Give him more talent. We got a nice big super chat here, man. I'm really appreciative of that. Scott Cherubino. You don't have a comment there, brother, but certainly if you want to say something, I'll absolutely put it out there for you. At the beginning of the year, everyone laughed at me when I said we can finish 8-4, and now it's possible. Absolutely, Timothy. You go get that. Make a meat crow, man. Scott. One more win, and we are guaranteed a winning record. I like it. Thanks, Scott. Appreciate you, brother. It means a ton, for real. Definitely does. Scott says, thumbs up. All right. All right. No word on the Bryce Briggs injury yet, Greg. It looked tough, He's an important depth piece for us. Obviously, we were getting into some of the offensive line who, man, just give those secondary guys credit today. I mean, obviously, Hubbard has played a lot of football, but he played really well today. Glad that we had, the one guy got to come back in. Really, really proud of him for that. Can't wait to get Doug Nestor back. I think he is all too important piece. And one of the reasons we had as many penalties as we did tonight was because, unfortunately, Doug, he just doesn't jump off sides, and we had that tonight, right tackle, although Nick Malone's played extremely well. Future is bright for him. He's got a little bit stronger, but that's the great thing about a zone running scheme. It's not necessarily a strength-based thing like some of the Big Ten offenses are, as it is a technique-based thing from the offensive line standpoint. You obviously have to be strong, but not as strong as just like the way Wisconsin runs the ball or something like that. Ocho85, 199 super chat, man, means a ton. As always, guys, have I got 5-1 here? Have I missed one? I'm sorry, Jacob Yoho. I'm just not seeing this, brother. What the hell is really going on here right now? Nico versus Zach wrestling match, WWE style. I'll tell you what. If I was rich, if I was Ken Kendrick, just for hell's sake, I would put that. I would NIL the hell out of that. Nico Marchiol versus Zach Frazier, WWE style wrestling match. That would be hilarious, man. And people would watch that if you broadcasted it. There's no doubt. Thank you, Ocho85, man. I appreciate that. Okay, David. Good night, brother. Steve Crew was remembering the Orange Bowl blowout we had over Clemson. Yeah, it was a great night, wasn't it? Overall, I mean, we got to savor these guys. We don't get these very much. We just don't. It's been seriously, the dark period for for our sport. So, um, really, really happy to be a Mountaineer, guys. Can't say it enough. Can't say it enough. All right, guys. Well, if nobody has anything else, Dark Math said 3 hour difference in injuries spot on for BYU. Absolutely agree. Uh, really great night, guys. Really happy to be here. It's late. I'm gonna eat some food and go to bed. Uh, who wins the AAA Super Six? It's a good question, TJ. Uh, I'm gonna get some sleep though. I'll be releasing a lot of content this week, guys. A lot. I've got a lot of ideas. I want to talk about Jaheim and CJ. Something somebody said about Jaheim and CJ that maybe that there should be a controversy there on who gets to start from now on. I want to talk about that, not making a stand either way. Other things like that, as being bowl eligible, there's a lot to talk about. So thank you guys for tuning in as always. Really hope you enjoyed the live. As always, this has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football, though. This episode is over, and we are out. Thanks, Lizdle. Sorry, guys. I'm out, man. If it'll go off. There it goes. This thing's acting up on me, fellas. What in the world is going on here? Disregard the last 30 seconds of this video.